Thomas, I have a very important thing that I need to ask you.
Oh, God. Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
My microphone keeps falling down, but okay, I'm ready.
Well, I don't want you to take a joking tone at this. It's kind of serious.
I'm ready, Patrick.
Can you give me that one more time? Just try to not make a joke out of it. Like you're not like trying out for a part. This is like friend time. Like I just want you to deliver. I just want to know your heart's in the right place.
Patrick, I'm ready.
That's actually pretty good. Well, I didn't want you to be jokey because I wanted to go jokey with it. Do you want to rock and roll all night and party every day, baby?
I do want to rock and roll all night and party every day.
Excellent.
So there we go.
Yeah, I guess that covers that then. Till I'll see you next week, buddy.
All right.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you been, man?
It's been like an equal amount of really good and really bad stuff this week, and I think it kind of cancels out a little bit, and things are okay. How about yourself?
It's pretty good. I guess. I don't know, just tired and stressed and yeah, sorry. We should take it from the top again. That was a bad way to start it. Do you want to start with the music? Because I had an idea for something to talk about.
Okay. I
was gonna say, when I listened to the Bloom, which was the song or the band?
The song.
The song. Okay. I think at this point there's been a few that have had that like vocal style. That for some reason it's harder for me now than it was when I was maybe a little younger to get into, I guess. But for some reason, it wasn't even that bad of guitar work or anything like that. It's just for some reason the vocal itself turned me away, and I listened to it 3 or 4 times, and I couldn't really get into it. But with that, the segue I wanted to ask was, we did Desert Island albums a few months ago, but I wanted to know, like, which albums you go back and listen to the most frequently. Like is there a rotation of like how far do you space your Taking Back Sunday days, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Well, to be honest, I guess I don't really listen to Taking Back Sunday.
All right, let me rephrase. That is just something that I every once in a while be like, I'll listen to Tell All Your Friends Today because it's been about a month or 2 or so.
Right. Yeah.
I was just wondering if you had similar habits or anything like that.
I listened to Enema of the State a few times last week, which was my number 1 album. I guess when I go back though, I don't really go that far back to like, especially stuff that was like bigger in my more transformative years. If I'm going to listen
does Blink like, even sound the same to you anymore?
No. Nothing does, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've listened to it so much. Like, at some point, I have to shelf really good ones just for longer and longer periods of time, and that kind of sucks. Just because I don't listen to new music at the rate I used to, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I definitely don't get as much out of Blink's albums as I used to.
I feel like I don't get as much out of anything. And the reason that I liked Bloom's so much was that, I mean, I think his voice is like insane. Like,
it wasn't
one of my favorite
bad
voices
for what it was trying to do.
Heard.
I just, for some reason, it wasn't for me at all.
Yeah, and I
it reminds me of
that.
Shows at the Summit or something. You know, I don't know. It just reminded me of. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a throwback. But usually when I listen to music, like, it just doesn't. It's so hard to even say this, and I know I've said similar things, but like, it just doesn't really do it for me anymore. I don't feel the emotional connection. Like, I don't feel like without this album I'd be nothing. You know, like, I clung to music and my music and stuff.
I think that's what I'm trying to say is that vocal
had.
style of the dude that you recommended last week for Bloom. It like reminded. It was like a band I only could have had a shot at liking if I was still in the years that I was like I don't know, junior high or high school, like still like listening to my, first developing albums you loved, like the first few that you really loved, you know what I mean? Yeah. For some reason but now that I've listened to so much music and what I tend to enjoy and what don't, I just don't know if I have the energy for what that guy was bringing to the table. Again, it was skillful. He had a good voice for what it was, but I don't know. It was definitely high up on like the emotional scale, and he was putting it down, but I don't believe I was able to pick it up.
I got you, man. And I think the reason I like it so much is because it was so, I'm trying to not say reminiscent of my younger years. Like, I really didn't want to.
Bro, you think this is a motherfucking game, dude? Do you? Do you think this is a game? No. I'm just saying, well, if brand new dropped Deja today, and we were the age we are now, do you think you'd be as into it?
No, and I actually find myself asking myself that about a lot of things. Like, I guess more specifically, like, if I didn't already like this band, would I like their most recent album? Like, would I even give them a chance? And sometimes I'm like afraid to answer that question myself. Or like, if I didn't hear about this band in 8th grade, would I even be able to listen to it right now? And why do you
think that changed? I mean, what is the change? Can you even identify what has changed, let alone why?
I think that up until, maybe 3 years ago, music was like such a big part of my identity in my life. And like, just the senior year superlatives, they like gave trophies to people, and like mine was best taste in music, and I was like, really, no one likes the music I listen to. And I forget who it was, it might have been you or someone else, was like, everyone just knows that you care so much about music, they just wanted to give it to you. Like, right, you are like the music guy, like that's like who you are. I wish I still had that trophy. I don't know where it went, but I cared so much because that was my entire life. But over the past couple years, I've like been discovering more about myself, like mostly through isolation from the people that I made music with, and just with anyone. And I found like a new part of myself that I didn't know was there. So I'm trying to like really explore that deeper, like in terms of like being an entrepreneur and like.
Do you think you're used to the environment you're in now, or do you think you actually like? I don't know. Do you think you could jump back into the music guy persona, right? Like, if you could? You know what I'm saying? Do you think you've just gotten comfortable adapting to what's happening around you, or do you think you actually are different? I guess that's pretty fucking heavy, but you know what I mean? Like, if you had a chance to just do the band thing full time again and work at a coffee shop and be back in that mindset, do you think you could embrace that? Maybe not coffee shop. I know how you feel. You get what I'm trying to say.
I feel like if the network weren't involved, yes. Because I do really miss being on a stage. I miss singing. I miss performing. I miss having like those few friends that you see once or twice a week and you work on something with. Like, I love the collaborative like creativity. But it's also exhausting. And my last experience with that wasn't like a great one. With how it ended. And again, I'm the kind of person that's going to go balls out, and like, if I'm going to be in a band, I want to be the biggest band in Denver, and that's like a lot of energy, a lot of effort, like years and years and years. And I just don't have it in me to do that, especially because I know that it'll never make money. And right now I'm focused on like trying to create a sustainable lifestyle for myself, like,
So you think it's money and time?
I think it's like a really big struggle between the realist in me and the guy who like just wants to have fun, like it was my. If you could, would you?
I'm just going to jump right back to the question at hand, and then you can tell your story. But I'm curious, like, would you?
I do want one or two people to make music with, but more casually than it used to be.
That's fair. Sorry to interrupt your anecdote.
No, it's fine. Like, it was, last week we did our New Year's resolutions like halfway point, and one of them was to make more music. And I was listening to some stuff on the way home from work today that I've been working on. And I want to put out like a solo album or an album of like, you know, something that I've done with a friend, because it is important to me, but I feel like I don't have much to say right now. And as like a lyricist, that's a big issue, you know, like I'm not angry, I'm not depressed, I'm not like, I don't want to write like head over heels love songs, and no one really wants to hear me sing about how I'm just trying to make a successful company. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like it doesn't align with my focus right now. But a part of me does really miss it, dude. I mean, our band, I just saw my time hop today. 6 years ago, we did our first photo shoot with me as the singer of the band. And I just remember how fun it was and exciting. And like a part of me doesn't want it to be in the past, but I guess the intensity of that is in the past, maybe. But even, I don't know, even that makes me sad. Growing up is so hard, dude.
So you're saying you would if you could, but unfortunately, I mean, you could be in a cover band and make money, legitimate money that way. If you were like in a good cover band.
Ugh. Ugh.
But that's not the dream, I imagine. Some people make that work. Like, and they strive to be really good. I've been reading a lot of Chuck Klosterman lately. He wrote a few features on people that that's their life, is imitating others, you know, and getting to relive moments the band lived during certain solos at certain venues, you know what I mean?
Right.
And making pretty good, because they know they can make more money playing other people's songs than they ever could hauling their equipment around the tri-state area, playing songs of their own in Sharpsville or whatever, you know what I mean? Like a VFW in Northeast PA. Like, so you were saying, so I mean, like, I guess that's tough. Yeah, how do you keep the bills up? Or is it just time in general? Yeah. I mean, did you feel like you needed to get a real job? Was this only because you started hating coffee, or?
In terms of music, or what, or just or the job?
Yeah,
stuff?
like now that you've pivoted towards more of a entrepreneurial mindset, which it always was that you always treated your bands with that same ferocity, I think.
Yeah,
and proactivity. But did you think that you needed to get a different type of job at some point? Was there like an internal clock that went off?
I mean, a part of me wanted to do the coffee stuff forever, but like not behind a counter, right? Like I was thinking about getting into roasting or like doing behind the scenes stuff where I didn't have to talk or interact with people. Like I wanted something new to work on that was like scientifically based, and something that you could either be good or bad at, and it would be very hard to get very good at. And I wanted to be, you know, like the best roaster on the East Coast. And I think
East Coast roast, dude?
I think that's just more of a product of me constantly wanting to learn new things but be the best at it. But also I have this thing where like I want to be the best, but I don't fully really commit to anything, because I always question, like, do I actually want to do this, or is it just marginally better than the thing I was doing before?
Right. Am I just bored and have like a half played out idea that I
right. So since the podcast network is actually something where it's like, no, dude, like this is it, anything else seems like not a distraction, but taking time away from that. So not like I feel guilt, but I don't want to take on new things if I think it could take away from something that already needs more time. So, you know, if I'm alone on a Sunday when Megan's at work, I'll get the guitar out, try to, you know, write a new song, realize it's just the same chords, get pissed, throw the guitar on the ground, and then leave it there all day, you know, until like Megan's about to come home and I quickly clean the house. But
right.
I need other people to work with me on stuff, like.
Yeah, I feel like Zach needs to be there to play that one random chord to help the progression. You know what I mean? Like, help me out here, man. What's the progression I'm going for?
Yeah.
Like, what about this? But like, pretty much, yeah.
like my role in the band, I never wrote songs. The guys would come in with a riff and then I would help them arrange the rest of it. You know, like they would come with ideas and I would put it together into a song, but I cannot write the parts.
Right.
So, you know, like finding out like the more complex rhythms and like, well, if we throw another harmony here on the guitars, like to match the vocals, like whatever, but I can't write those parts. And that's why, yeah, when I wanted to get into podcasting, it was like, well, I can't do the podcast, but I still want to do podcasting. So what's the loophole here? Like, how can I still be involved, you know? Which is where like naturally the like producer role comes up. And I'm honestly enjoying that just more than I did the music, because it's like, you know, especially like with the music, it was like with my band, I wanted to be the leader, you know, that's the position that I fell into when I like became a singer, and everyone just kind of followed along. And we had a blast until like
a little bit of chutzpah goes a long way, my friend.
Right. So like, but with this position, I'm more like they do the show because they're the experts, right? Like the space guys are like when Kylie and Kyle do it, and I, you know, for a while like do the editing, but like all the other back end stuff. But then I can learn from them. So like I have something to offer them, they have something to offer me, and like the two don't really intersect. Like I can't do what they do. You know, they can obviously learn to do what I do, but like that's not their role, I guess. So it's nice having clear defined roles, because in the band everyone's kind of doing the same thing, and I'm like I guess I was difficult to work with, you know, because I wanted things a certain way and they didn't see stuff in it that I saw, and would get frustrated that I'd be like pushing an idea so hard, you know. So I feel like there's less of that here, and that's a lot more comfortable to me. They're like clear, defined roles.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's tough. I mean, if you're putting in all the work and you feel like you have maybe a little more pull on a certain idea, but maybe you're blinded by it to a certain degree, it's like a double-edged sword maybe. But like you get so deep into it, you can't see, I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds tough. But if you're doing all the work and booking all the shows and stuff, you're like, well, who's this bullshit artist? Get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Right. You're a rhythm guitarist. Shut the fuck up.
Like my thing, so we had a song that's never heard the light of day because we quit after we wrote 7 songs and got them mostly recorded. Going into like our more intense part, there was a break in the songs, and the drums would come in and just be like bop, you know, like with the guitars, and it went in a progression of like a hit once, then twice, then 3 times. And I thought it was clever, like it would count up, you know, and then in like our kind of like, I wouldn't call it a break, I guess it was a breakdown, it had this really specific rhythm that was just like adding a number every time, but on the second time through that phrase, it like took one away from like it was this, almost felt like a math formula, you know, and we all agreed that it was super cool and it sounded awesome. And they're like, oh yeah, if someone actually like sees like the kind of like equation we're going for here, they might be like, wow, that's clever. So we were all on the same page. Everyone liked it. They thought it was clever. But then when it came to practice, they wouldn't try like to get it until they got it. Like people were confused. The drummer was playing the wrong thing. And I was like, no, stop. You know, like this is important. Everyone needs to be playing the same thing. And they're like, dude, whatever. Let's just get through the song. It's like, no, it's not whatever. This is the apex of the song. Like you got to get it right. And they're like, dude, whatever. I'm like, no, you know, and it would just turn into this fight. It's like, why don't you care about this? And that just seemed crazy to me. They didn't want to be the best. So, you know, I left. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. I, you know, they were my best friends, but I'm trying to do something, you know, and they were kind of getting in the way. So, but also at the same time, I can't do it alone, you know?
Right. Well, it's tough, you know, if you don't have like one song that people are latching on to and there's no buzz and you're, you know, maybe you feel a little lost, and because that's what it takes, right? You have to catch, it's got to be a good show, good crowd at a good venue on the right night, where it all comes together and you hit the song that there might have been a buzz about in the name, right? I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into buzz being created about band that's not playing covers, right?
Yeah. And, we had a little bit, I guess. There were some times I'd go to a show.
You had scraped as much as you could out of that scene.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would go to a show in Maryland and people would come up. Like, I mean, this is rare. This happened maybe 3 or 4 times. They're like, oh, you're singing that band Good Fight, right? I, came across your page on Facebook. I really like the music. And it's, like, a city we hadn't played in, but enough people were kind of talking about it that people who weren't associated with us would hear it somehow. And that, like...
Do you think you could have toured with, like, Wonder Years or...
No. I wouldn't want to.
Empty Spaces or whatever, or The Story So Far?
I wouldn't want to be honest. I don't have...
Why is that?
Because my voice would be shot after 45 minutes. It's pretty much gone by the end of the show. And, I'd be fine playing every weekend, every other weekend.
Interesting.
I would rather tour as a drummer, for sure. It's a lot less pressure,
Is it easy to get on a tour? Like, in theory, like, is it easy to make money doing that? Like, if you were good enough friends with Rookie of the Year, would they ever be like, hey man, we're touring, do you have like a 20-minute set you can play before us? Like, can you just put a band together and...
With Rookie, maybe. I know that they sell touring spots. So, like, a band could pay like $10,000. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's huge, man. Like, if you've got a lot of money, you can pay like $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 and just go tour with, depending on how big the band is. Like, I think A Day to Remember used to do that. They would sell like 1 or 2 spots and then make, tens of thousands of dollars. And then the band would, try to recoup some of that doing merch and stuff. But really, it was just trying to like get exposure. But Rookie, actually, Ryan, the singer, he was like, if you ever want to tour sometime, man, I'll like get you on like, second rhythm guitar or something. He's like, we'll figure something out if you ever want to come on the road. But like, I've got like, I don't want to say a family, but kind of like that vibe,
Yeah, your life has changed,
Yeah. And I mean, God, 8 years ago from this week, I was getting off tour with Run Forever, and that was the time of my life, man.
That was a different time for sure for you.
It was awesome. And maybe if I was single and didn't have the student loans, heck yeah, I'd go out on tour. Like,
so what happens in 8 years from now? How far from that 8 years ago do you think you'll be? Or do you think it'll always run parallel to like a similar, I don't know. Like, how many cycles do you think you have in you during your life? You know what I mean?
Of what?
I don't know. Just like 8 years ago, it was a certain very specific thing, and it's a very different thing now.
Gotcha.
But it's similar in a way. You're still doing. There are parallels. So do you think it'll stay more parallel or drift? Like, where do you see like 8 years from now? Do you hope it's a brand new, totally different thing like it is now?
Well, I guess based on the information I have now, I would like to stay more on like the same current trajectory, Like, I would love to see myself in 8 years doing Elemental FM with, 5 million monthly listeners to the show and, millions of subscribers to the editorial and, have 50 contributors and stuff. I've been thinking since the New Year's resolution show that like I was setting the bar like way too realistic, and you kind of think maybe you'll land somewhere in the middle. And if I'm already setting it at what I think is realistic, then I'm going to fall short of that. So like,
right.
I want to be, bigger than Serial in 8 years. Like, might never happen. That's fine, a saying? But,
Is that a saying? Bigger than Serial? I like it if it is.
No, like...
Oh.
Like the Serial podcast.
Yeah. This American Life. I got you. I thought you meant like I'm going to be bigger than God. Or you know what I mean?
Bigger than sliced bread.
I'm more popular than Jesus. I'm going to be bigger than Kix, baby. I was like, yeah, I guess. I mean, cereal is on most breakfast tables in America, I guess.
Fruity Loops got nothing on this sugar.
Yeah. I'm gonna honey smack you right in the tush. We're having the year of our lives. I don't know who the fuck this character is that we just created, but I'm in love with him. He's my dad.
Oh my god.
Uncle Rodney. No, I don't know. Anyway.
I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna aim high, you know? I don't know. I want to get more good people involved.
So you think you're gonna? It's gonna be like? I mean, I guess you got to go balls out for this podcast thing. Like, it's this or nothing, right?
I'm thinking that for right now, but I'm sure if this collapses and doesn't work out, there will be something else.
Do you think you'll know when that moment is where you have to put the kill switch and pivot to a different entrepreneurial task? Will it be an entrepreneurial task?
Absolutely.
That's an unfair question. That's an unfair question.
Well, I think that it will be an entrepreneurial task. I think that I will know...
Endeavor. My apologies. But
yeah, right.
Both work, I suppose.
I think that I'll know when it's time to throw in the towel, but I'll probably start questioning it long before it happens and then hold on for a little too long. Because dude, I mean,
you still got to let the video game peeps take their swing.
I want to give it at least 2 years if there's still crickets, and I mean not like no one's listening, but if there's like crickets.
Is Ad Astra growing?
Yeah.
Well, that's good because they're one of the real shows, right?
It's been a steady, consistent, slow growth. Some of the episodes, if they hit on something just right and it gets shared, it'll have double the downloads of other shows. But they're looking into some pretty big partnerships right now, which could do very, very well for us. Like money making well, like into that league.
That's the whole motivation, right?
Yeah. I feel like I was more focused on it.
I mean, it has to
before.
be, dude. If you are running a business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can be passionate all you want, but I mean, if nobody's buying ad space and stuff like that, then or partnerships, that's exciting, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, basically,
this
where
is
I'm
supposed
at
to be your full-time job, right?
Right. Like, basically, where I'm at right now, total money spent a month on the 3 shows that we have right now is about $100 a month I'm spending. That includes, hosting for the shows, the website, the domain, the custom emails that we have set up. It's about $100 a month. And
have you tried to sell space on the shows?
No, there's no reason to right now. There's just not enough.
I mean, why not? Why can't you go to those wallet people and be like, give us $100 and we'll mention you at the beginning of every show for this month.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
Or 50 and get a second company to do it. We have this many thousand listeners a month or whatever,
Yeah. I've thought about it. Yeah, like start small. Like there's even, most of the space guys.
And then grandfather them in as you grow or something, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, like most of the space guys, their listeners are in the DMV area, which is Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland. So there is a bar and restaurant that's like science themed, and they have a lot of like meetings at that bar. So I was like, Jack, dude, why don't we partner up with like the, that bar and like not only get paid to
record a few episodes at the bar?
Well, they want to do some live shows there, but like advertise the bar. But I want to get into like more like guerrilla marketing tactics. Like nothing beats face-to-face giving someone a physical thing. And we saw that when they handed out their flyers at the Humans to Mars Summit when they passed it out to like 1,200 people, including every member of Congress. They had like triple the downloads that day. And some, a small percent, maybe 10% have been repeat listeners. And that's great. I think that's a pretty good conversion. But I was thinking like, what if, we have the restaurant pay for like 5,000 little like postcard size, thick, thick like cardstock, glossy paper. So it's like a postcard, you know. On one side would be like a 15% off coupon for the restaurant. The other side would be an ad for the show. So they pay for the printing, and then we get like a street team to hand them out all over the city. So they, for like, you know, a couple $100, they print all these, but then they get the manpower to like disperse them. That could be really worth it for both of us. So I don't know. I've had more thoughts like that, or like, you know, printing out a bunch of stuff and going to Barnes & Noble and slipping it into every book in the science section. Not like probably legal, but dude, come on, you know, let's do it. You know, heading down I think
that's got to be the direction it takes. You know what I mean?
It has to be. I mean, every successful company, they didn't just buy a $10 ad on Facebook. I mean, yeah, sure, we'll get 10 downloads
to me, the
from
fact
it,
that you haven't been trying to reimburse your monthly 100, you know what I mean? Like just with to me, that should be your goal, right? Right now is, can I convince someone or two companies that I've dealt with already to try to make up this $100 at least for now, you know?
Right.
And give them a good deal. I don't know, $500 for a year's worth of every show at the beginning of the show. You know what I mean? Like, and that would cover your ass for like a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, could you convince 3 companies to give you $100 for? I don't know. You tell me how much ad space. You know what I mean?
See, it's hard because I know the standard like industry rate for listeners versus dollar signs, and it is a lot of listeners for very little money.
Podcasts just aren't. I mean, yeah.
So there are ad companies where if you have less than 10,000 listeners, they won't even talk to you. The standard rate is between $18 to $25 per 1,000 listeners. So
how many
like,
thousand does the network have?
0,000.
Oh, really?
I mean, they're talking about per episode.
Right.
So, you know, the space show is niche enough where maybe you can get by with, you know, 500 listeners, because that's not only are they interested in space, they are interested in the politics of space. That is a very specific, very educated group of people that most likely make more money than the median, you know, household income or whatever. So they would be more willing to spend spend money on a certain type of item. So that can be worth more. But yeah, I guess why not start looking into it now and start at least making these connections? It's been on my mind. I really need to get the editing off my plate. Like I said, doing it at work has been a huge help, but once Ad Astra takes over their editing, you know, I want to start actually scheduling hours for me to work on stuff, because right now it's like, I'll do it on Saturday, but then Saturday rolls around, I'd rather play Zelda. Like, I want it to, you know, have to like check into work like it's a job, and, you know, Saturday from noon to 3, I do this thing. I think I need to get more on that. That would be really helpful. But I also want a business partner, like really bad, to, again, like make up for what I don't know how to do. And there's a lot of things I don't know how to do. I'm going to this podcasting conference in LA in like, oh my God, like 5 weeks, hoping to meet some people there, maybe someone who would want to get on board, you know, put their show on the network, and then they can be, you know, a percentage partner or something.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I still don't have my return flight booked, but I have the hotel and the flight there at least.
It'll figure itself out.
Yeah. As we like to say at work, God will take care of it. I work with a bunch of atheists, and that's the joke.
I don't get it.
So
I'm joking.
Yeah. Like something, you know, we'll leave something unplugged on the roof. Like, I'll just pray about it.
No, I'm with you. Praise be. I think I was trying to be funny as well, and it didn't land. So,
well, I was like, really? You don't
like I'm religious or something? Like, wait, I don't get it. Why would it be funny that Praise be. um, anyway, moving on right along. I didn't have much else planned for this particular week. But I guess that was my main line of thinking when I heard your song, was like, I don't know if I'm the same type of guy that can still dig into something so emotionally charged with that. I don't know. Like I'll have like a throwback Thursday where I listen to an old Alexis on Fire tune or something, and it's like,
that's so funny to me.
I used to, be into some of these songs, but I just don't, like if a new band that sounded like that came out and was yelling, kind of like the guy you gave me this week it's just like, it just seems exhausting. Not exhausting, but just, I don't know. It was just a little like, I don't know. I've already had a lot of my long car rides home with the fam where you listen to the same album 3 times in a row and like really get to think and hear every layer and how it plays in your headphones. Fewer band bus trips for you and stuff like that. I feel like there's not enough time in the day to be like, I don't care about this guy's story, and the hook isn't quite alluring enough to make me want to try harder.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of why I was asking you the questions I did this week, just because.
Well, I mean, what do you think has changed for you in that time? You just like, is it purely just like you like a different kind of music, or is it your, childhood intensity is just gone? Like, I feel like mine is. I'm like way more mellow. Like,
yeah, there's just different stuff to worry about. It's a whole different set of everything. Yeah. So I think naturally there's different stressors. There's different things you have to do each day. There's different, I don't know. Your mind's just, I mean, when you were listening to those albums, was 90% of your brain power geared towards getting laid, or the thought that someday you might? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, with a specific girl that, maybe 2 or 3, people you had met in high school that you thought were cute, and you're like, man, thank God Mark Hoppus wrote this song about me. You know what I mean? I pretty much am Mark Hoppus, dude. Like, I'm in Blink-182. Yes. So those days are just kind of behind. Not to be too hip, like, yeah, I pretty much, like, I don't really care for the screaming. I'm more of like a chilled out festival vibe guy. Because I don't think I'm trying to say that. I think I'm just trying to say it's a different mindset. And I just am sorry I keep saying no to these songs you're recommending, because every time it has that particular intensity to it, I just have a tough time digging into it. So I think I'm more just sorry to you that I like can't really give more feedback for the weekly song segment, I think is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, it's my fault because I'm not trying to recommend songs that like I think you'd like. I'm just recommending like what I've been listening to the most.
Right. I mean, me too. I gave you a freaking DJ Khaled track with Justin Bieber singing over it. I mean, I don't even really like it, but it's catchy as hell that week, and it was on my mind.
Can I talk about that real quick?
Yeah. This episode is basically you said you wanted to focus more on the music, so this is our making up for lost time.
So I just want to say, when it comes to Blooms, I love the intensity because my life is so lacking intensity right now.
What do you mean? You just doing that 9 to 5 living?
I feel like the only intensity that I have is when I'm on the roof and something goes wrong and I just get pissed and want to start breaking stuff, because it's like...
What did you used to get intensity out of, other than wanting to get laid?
Well, it's funny because back then I was still a virgin up until I was 19.
Holla!
And, like, getting laid, like, honestly, was just not on my mind. I thought that I thought I was going to save myself for marriage, right?
You've gone through a few, like, ideological changes since I've met you. I think that's fair to say.
Sure. But I guess the intensity that I had was songs that focused on depression or like very depressing things, because I either related to it or it made me feel better that my life wasn't that bad. either that or like really mindless, like just pop, dance music, like old Katy Perry or Kesha or something, and that's just like, because it's totally like nothing, but I don't really feel depressed anymore. I don't really have like much anxiety. I feel like I'm like a 50-year-old just burnout that has no emotions at all. And a big part of me is okay with that. But every now and then when like I hear a song like Blooms and it's so like heartfelt in his vocals, I mean, I know that it's like not your thing, but his vocals are f***ing amazing and like so powerful, whatever, that it makes me feel like something. And it's like so depressing that it takes me back to like, oh, I remember when I had feelings,
I think what changed for me was like, you used to be able to be like, oh, cool, I'm Mark Hoppus. Funny. That's weird. It's so random. Like this is written for me and I'm, but then you like James McCallion invites you over and you watch Fight Club and you're like, okay, I guess some people think that like nothing matters and that we're all just ants or whatever. That's cool. I mean, worldviews, yo. We're all growing up. Dope. Still Mark Hoppus. That's what my life is, and how lucky that he's just singing to me, And then, I don't know. And then you go to college and people are like, have you read Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace? And you're like, do I have to give a shit about this? I guess apparently it's got to be on my radar. And then you try to pretend you read it and you look up quotes of his on the internet. And there's the one quote that's like, the thing that is so alike about everybody is how different from everyone else they think they really are, when that's not even true. Some bullshit like that. And it's just like, was James McCallion's movie night ruined it. It just ruined it. I'm not Mark Hoppus anymore. Like, I really wish I was. He was singing to everybody, everybody thought they were Mark Hoppus. That's fucking, literally. Pun intended. Not unintended, but now I'm saying it is intended. But it's just kind of like as you become, I don't know, more experienced, there's a certain amount of novelty that kind of. So I don't know, maybe now that that part is gone, that's why my tastes have shifted away from perhaps that kind of emotional intensity and more, I don't even know. I don't even know. But musically different, I guess, or I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know, because then you think of it like, what's the singer's perspective, and then maybe that kind of opens your horizon for a minute, and you listen to different types of.
You know what really fucks with my head?
What's that?
So, since I started writing, there's been some songs that I wrote about that I really don't. Not like I don't feel that way, but I'll write songs about situations where it's like I'm writing from like a different perspective, or like writing about someone else as if I were them, or like kind of twisting things in a way that's just like better for the song. And then knowing songwriters that write songs that are like just totally like didn't happen at all. It like still a good song, still really compelling, but like once I started finding that stuff out, you start thinking like, is anything real? Like, did any of this stuff happen in the song, like, with the people they're singing about?
Right.
And that, I started thinking about that. I'm like, this probably never even happened,
Well, and in the age of the internet, too, to a certain degree, like, we used to have burn CDs were big when we were in middle school, kind of when we were getting into music. Yeah. But, like, if you want to find out everything you want to learn about the lead singer of Alabama Shakes, you can. And then you can picture her growing up on her rural Alabama farm, or her junkyard that her family owned. And then Give Me All Your Love, or Always All Right, and all the, their hits. You're like, all I can think about is why she would have written this and what her experience, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something about the I'm no longer Mark Hoppus thing that'll be the last time I reference this, but it's just like, now you're so aware about who the storytellers are, and that's kind of cool in its own way, but why they're telling the stories and how they're telling it and what everyone's, thing is.
Yeah.
Which maybe that wasn't the case when you would get handed a burnt CD, Maybe it was an age thing. I'm not sure. Maybe it's more of an age thing and less of an accessibility thing, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like back
because
in
like
the day,
lead singer. Sorry, I just
before-
cut you immediately right back off. But it's like the lead singer of Alabama Shakes is like couldn't have had a different life than I did for so many reasons.
right?
But maybe that's what's cooler about it though, is because we can still love the song "Hold On." I don't know what I'm trying to say. This was a half-baked idea as soon as I started talking. Never mind. Let me sit on it a bit. Sorry for cutting you off.
Okay. No, I feel like, back in the day, I would hear a song and just like, it wouldn't even occur to me that like real people play this stuff because your whole life has just been like stuff that's served to you on the radio. You don't think about the band like, brainstorming ideas, thinking about the album title, fighting over what the song name should be called. How will that look physically on a CD with the names before and after? Is it too long? Is it too short? And, all that stuff like totally ruins the magic of just this song appeared out of thin air and it was written just for me by some entity that can't be human because I'm too young to know any musicians, I feel like there was something like when Linkin Park came on the radio when I was in 6th grade and it was just so sad and so angry, and that's how I was in 6th grade because of, the stepdad situation. It was like this magic thing that was on earth just to help you feel better. But then, with stuff like nowadays, it's like, the Wonder Years was like my favorite band. It helped me through a lot of stuff in like early college years. And then like they come to the venue I worked at and you meet the guys and you talk to them and they're so different than they seem in the music. Like,
don't meet your heroes, dude.
And no, I actually liked them. I loved them as people. Like they were like super nice guys. But then it was just like, oh, like I know these people now, or like The Dangerous Summer, or like Rookie of the Year. These are all bands that I absolutely love, and I like know the people now. Like talk to some of them regularly. It's almost like you can't love them as much as you used to because it might be weird that you obsess over your friend's band.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like when you're involved in that world, it even really changes things too.
I was going to say I blame Delilah, that radio show.
Delilah.
It's either my favorite or least favorite part of American culture. I still don't know. But I think when you're young and you're like, okay, so everyone hearing this show right now, like is listening to, let's say, Hold On by Alabama Shakes, it's just like, I wonder how many, it's like, I thought it was just me that was doing the holding on, but there's probably more than just me hearing this show right now. And Delilah.
Yeah, I think
Delilah. Everyone, we're just here hanging out, and just let this one flow through your veins for a few minutes. Let's see what this feels like. Try this on. Just try it on. You don't have to keep it. We're here together, baby. It's just like fucking Delilah, man. But that song, don't you know that you're talking to Mark Hoppus? This song is about me, you idiot. But then again, you learn to enjoy that a lot once you start going to concerts and you grow up a little bit, and kind of the shared experience thing takes on wears a new hat, if you will.
Sure.
But, so it's just different, not worse. I don't think I'm trying to say anything is necessarily worse. It's just so dramatically different from age 13 to 23, you know what I mean? Or 16 to 21 even, or 19 to 26. I don't know. I guess it's cool that, I don't know. It's just, it is weird. I guess what I was thinking when we started this podcast, it was just like, I don't get much out of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket anymore by Blink. Just for
I know
a lot of the reasons we just stated, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I just don't know.
It makes me sad.
I guess, but it served its purpose like a motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like the fact that it landed then is irrelevant now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it'd be more sad if it was still something that we're like, you know what I mean? Banging our heads to on a long drive. I don't know. Not that you can't play it on a road trip, because I plan to do that forever. But, there's certain songs that hit in the moment and you obsess over them and you want to listen to them all day for maybe even 3 days in a row, and like you need the song and you dig it. And I don't know. Over time, I don't know. It's almost like drugs or booze, I guess, in a way. Like, I don't know, like you miss that high of like hearing, like, oh shit, track 8 is All the Small Things, and it's the hit on the album. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 8 tracks deep, and I'm fucking still in love with its album. You know what I mean? I could listen to this probably for the next 10 years, and that's exactly how that shit went down. And I don't know. Maybe you kind of chase that a little bit as the years go by.
Yeah, it's been a hard thing to wrestle with, man.
Yeah, but the more you hear, the more you're used to, and the less novel things can seem, and only so many stories, so many different ways to tell them.
Right.
But anyway, did you like that DJ Khaled song?
So I did, and I took notes.
It's a summer jam. I don't think it's anything more or less than that.
So here's the thing. DJ Khaled's positivity is infectious.
Truly. We the best.
Right, I love it. I thought the song was catchy. I loved the bass line. I love those like synth basses lately. So like that Another Day in Paradise that I recommended a couple months ago, Marion Hill, they all have that like really quick, like snappy bass line, really rhythmic, you know. I think this is, as you know, I watched the music videos. I think this is the most.
Go for it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I watched this one. I rarely watch music videos, but I saw this one.
I think this is the most approachable Justin Bieber has ever seemed in his life. There was just something about him that did not annoy the absolute piss out of me.
Right,
and
he didn't do anything annoying in the video. He's just he's never going to be Sinatra, and the world has changed too much for anybody to ever be, probably. But
yeah,
he is right now one of the dudes that can lay the track down. You know what I mean? Like, we're putting Who Wants to Sing the Hook? I mean, yeah, let's just have Bieber lay it down, and then we'll, it doesn't, he'll make it sound good, and that's all he'll do, and he'll know his role, and it doesn't fucking matter.
A couple other things I picked up on, a huge glaring Beats promotion right in the middle of the song, or maybe it was the beginning. They do that in, every Netflix original. They zoom in on the headphones.
I might just be picking on Pitbull, but does he actually reference Bud Light in one of his songs?
I've never heard Pitbull in my life.
There's something like that. I can't pin down the reference, and I apologize. But Jesse was talking about the other day, like, with that one song where they like, it's kind of totally out of place, and you just hear them say Bud Light out loud when they're referencing the beer they're drinking, and you're just like, ooh, that one wasn't the best. That wasn't exactly a covert operation.
Also, one of the guys, I forget who it is, mentions, now she's like grinding on my belt or something.
Yeah,
and then,
Chance, Gucci
so
belt.
then I started looking at his belt. His belt buckle was blurred throughout the entire video. And it made me wonder, what brand of belt buckle is he wearing? Because I think he said Gucci.
So you're saying he used the rhyme just in that was something he wrote, but he showed up to the shoot wearing something else?
Well, I don't know if like maybe they blurred it because it wasn't what he was singing about, or if like Gucci. Well, if you listen to the verse,
he references Chanel and a couple other high-end things that a girl that he's referencing might be into. So I don't know if it's just the tone of the verse. I don't think it was a sponsorship. I might just be a Chance apologist because I fucking love Chance the Rapper. But
I don't mean sponsorship. It's just interesting that they can talk about brands, but they can't show them. I thought that was very curious.
Oh, interesting. It's definitely the opposite of having the Beats headphones in the
or
shot.
Maybe they wanted the only brand in the video to be Beats.
Right. Chance would be allowed to reference these brands in describing the type of girl that would be into them, but it's not something that was associated with music videos advertising.
Right. So, okay, and this is the last thing I need to say. I hate when people say, like when T-Pain was big, the auto-tune, blah, blah, blah. I feel like a lot of newer songs that come out, it's not as intense of auto-tune and like the vocoder synthesizers that they layer with vocals as T-Pain's was, and it's not natural at all, and it's just kind of
still pretty new then, and they were just like, now we can do this, you know what I mean?
But
now
totally
it's just like there.
On that.
What's that? Oh, you're gonna put auto-tune on that?
But what I hate is that like everything is like that, and it's not even following a melody, it's just fluttering around. You know what I mean? Like,
sure,
I can try to do it right now. It's just like this thing that's fluttering around and everyone's doing it and there's no melody and it's stupid. And I'm going to edit that in so it sounds dope. And I don't want to sound like an old curmudgeon, but...
Too late, dude.
There was a little bit in J. Beebs' voice, but he was mainly singing with a couple, they call it like pitch drift.
You should hate on his singing every episode just to at least try to get a listens bump from the hater crowd, like his believers.
Right.
I mean, if we were really trying to get listens, we would just attack the internet in the arcade. Go into the belly of the beast and, put some armor on and be like, let's do it.
Let's troll.
Right. He did pretty good, slightly auto-tuned. We're going to fucking kill you.
But anyway, I kind of liked it overall, but I think I would prefer... and again, this might be a first coming out of my mouth. I might prefer only Justin Bieber singing on the track.
Well,
yeah.
Now I'm thinking if the Believer reference might have been a joke that would only have hit like 6 years ago, and I feel sad about that. So sorry, everybody. I'll try to be better.
Do you want to...
I hear what you're saying. It's a song of the summer, unless Despacito is already the runaway favorite.
Oh, God.
Jesse has a weakness for like random Espanol bangers.
Random acts of Spanish?
I don't know how you would say it, but, what was the one? There was one 2 summers ago that she was really into too, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, I'm going to have to hear this on every car ride I take for the next 7 months. I don't hate the song. I like it's fine. It's just like there's something about Despacito. I'm just like, no, Despacito. She's like, doesn't it make you just want to dance? I'm like, I can guarantee you not as much as it makes you want to dance, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to dance. I mean, there's no hate here. It's just like I saw this coming a mile away for sure. Despacito, baby. But so I have a song for you this week.
All right.
Picked out in my own head.
Hey-o.
We'll find out what that is right after this. John. And we're back. No, just kidding. Do you have one ready as well? I just got to look it up on my phone.
Yeah, so I do have one.
All right, I'll go first. Haim, their new record dropped. I just needed time to open up my phone. I knew it was Haim. I just forgot the name of the tune. Little of Your Love / I'm just going to say their whole new album. I haven't really dug my claws into it yet, but I like Haim a lot, and Little of Your Love is a good tune. If you are have never tried to get into them, I'd go to their last album and listen to The Wire. I think probably is my favorite song by them, but they came out with a new album, and check them out.
I think it's pronounced Haim, but
oh, sorry, y'all.
Megan has been listening to them a bit, and I'll definitely dig more into it, much to her pleasure.
Also, can you check the pronunciation? And if you corrected me without needing to, I get to fucking kill you. No, just kidding.
How is it spelled? Haim?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's Haim.
Look it up right now, please.
Oh, God. Haim band pronounce. I love typing nonsense into Google, just like keywords.
Yeah.
Juicy, Jewcy, says it rhymes with time. So,
is that the case, Tom?
Shut up, Pat. I'm not done.
Is that the way it goes?
You shut your goddamn motherfucking mouth.
You come hard at... You think this is a fucking game, dude? You come in the middle of my recommendation, guns a fucking blaze, correcting my fucking... Oh, Tom.
So we contacted the band's publicist to get an official verdict, and we got one. Haim... Haim rhymes with time. It's not said like Corey Haim's surname that rhymes with name.
You don't have to keep reading.
It's not. Oh, so you're
settled.
Right.
It's settled. I like the band.
Okay.
Wait, you think I'm? And to your credit, it's very possible I could have been mispronouncing it, but I'm a little hurt. I'm a little hurt that you think I was.
Well, what's funny is even when I thought I was correcting you, I was actually just digging my own grave. That's
what I hate. Like that's what I hate about office culture And earlier when I said a little chutzpah goes a long way, like you just suggested something you weren't even sure of, and that's like 4 minutes of our life we're never going to get back.
So we're going to move along here. Have you heard Kesha's new song?
No. I dig on Kesha, though. My brother likes her a lot, so I've listened to a shocking amount of her catalog.
Are you aware of what she's gone through in the past couple of years?
She was sexually assaulted, and then the label refused to acknowledge it or something along those lines. Here I go breaking my own rule. I have no idea what happened, and I'm just kind of slinging fake news around. Sorry to your friends.
She tried to get out of her record deal. She had like a multiple record deal with Dr. Luke, I think, who was her, the guy who sexually assaulted her. And the courts told her that she had to make more albums with him in order to get out of her contract. She couldn't record with anyone else, and she couldn't not record with him. And it was like this huge thing. Like, how could you do that to someone, Aren't you supposed to like promote justice and, protect people? So the whole thing was insane, and I don't know how.
Is this a big comeback then for her?
But this is her comeback album, and the song addresses all of that stuff. And her voice is insane. It is unlike anything you've heard from Kesha before. You should watch the video. I know I always say it. I never thought that I would get chills and choked up from a Kesha song. But the queen is back, baby. And she fucking rips. I'm very excited for her.
Good. I'm excited to check that out just because I want to be able to I want to get my brother's take on it and everything.
Yeah. Want to do highlights real quick and get out of here?
Yeah. I got to see my parents this weekend, and that was good.
Dope.
Yeah, pretty simple this week. Simple equation.
Right. If that's all you got, I guess I'll go. Like I said, a lot of good things happened this week. The best thing that happened this week, though, I bought a $1 scratch-off card. The rules read, if your number equals 7, 11, or 21, you win the prize shown. So I scratch off the numbers and I get 11. Ooh, awesome. What is this? Probably $2? $22. Okay, awesome. That's a huge return on investment. I get another one, 11, $77. Holy shit, I'm rich, right? I get another one that says 11, $21,000. And immediately I'm thinking, the money I'm getting sued for my student loans paid off, no problem. And I'm freaking out. I'm hyperventilating. I'm yelling in my car. And I show the card to my friend, and he starts like screaming, He goes, let me double check it. Let me double check it. I didn't see that you had to scratch off 3 numbers, not 2. None of them were winners.
No. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
$21,000.
Almost my highlight of the week.
Sure.
I wanted to just keep it to 1 to not overdo it, but I'm going to give 2 just because there were 2 things that I don't think can be passed up. I got a call from Kyle, the husband of Captain Dangerous, who's going to do the podcast, and it was I thought maybe something bad, like why is he just calling me out of the blue? And he was like, hey man, I was just thinking about you today, and I wanted to tell you that like I'm really glad that we're friends. I think you're a really good dude, and I'm excited to like do the show with you, and I really appreciate you, and I just wanted to let you know. And I was like, whoa, dude, like, did that really happen? Like, does that ever happen anymore? It was just like, it was a really nice thing. I think more people should maybe do that. And it made me feel really good because it was right when I got off the phone with the people trying to get $25,000 from me for the student loans.
What's the guy's relationship to you again? I think I missed that part.
Oh, so he's the guy who's going to do the podcast, the Nintendo podcast.
Oh, right on.
Right. And like, I kind of know him. We're friends. We talk, but like, I've only like met him once when we stayed at his house, like on the way to the move here. But he was like, yeah, man, I was just, letting you know I think you're a really good guy. And I thought that was really cool. Made me feel really good. Like maybe I'm doing something right. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully that means they want to stay in business with you.
Yeah.
And
so
not
that was
just
cool. I think more people should let other people know that you appreciate them. And I appreciate you, Pat.
I appreciate you.
I love that we do this. And also one of my favorite bands in the world, I was telling Megan like a week ago, I can't believe I'm never going to see this band again because they broke up a couple years ago, announced they're recording a new album and they're getting back together and they're going to be on tour in 2018. And that just made me very, very happy.
What's the band?
The Dangerous Summer. They're from Baltimore.
Oh, cool.
And like, I talked to some of the dudes in that band too. And the guys that I know are actually not in the band anymore. And their last album wasn't great because it was a different lineup, but their shows were really important to me. And I actually made a lot of friends at their shows and had some really good experiences. Their shows are amazing. And I was just like listening to the music, like, God, I'll never see him again, ever. It's just not going to happen. And then like 3 days later, they were just like, oh, hey, we're back, So that was good, I'm excited about their music for sure. I've been listening to them a lot. So, yeah.
Well, that sounds like a highlight to me. You want to wrap it up?
Let's do it. I'm ready for bed. It's 11 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock where you are.
It's true.
It's late, dude.
All right, everybody. We see you next week.
We appreciate you. There aren't very many of you, but there seems to be a pretty consistent number every week. We appreciate that you're here. We would appreciate it more if you talk to us on Twitter, not because we want tweets. We want to know who's listening other than Matt. He's the only one who says anything, and we love talking to him. And you could be the other Matts.
Matt's going to take over the company someday.
Probably, dude. He's said that he's trying to launch a podcast. He's going to turn us into white noise.
Well, I love you, man. I hope you're getting enough sleep and taking care of yourself.
Love you too, Pat.
Talk to you soon, man.
All right, dude.
Bye.
Bye.
Ba 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 ba.